amendments signed into law by President Cyril Ramaphosa are aimed at strengthening efforts against gender-based violence in our country. Among others, they afford victims of abuse access to an online protection order system. They also aim to address violence and offences committed against vulnerable persons. Let's unpack the story for you, get you some perspective on the importance of these three new laws. Kelly Baloyi is Action Society's GBV spokesperson, and she joins us via our video link this morning. Kelly, it's great to have you with us on the program on what is an incredibly important story. I don't want to start off the interview by saying it's a little late, but it certainly is welcomed.
Yes, definitely, Michelle. You know, these amendments are a step in the right direction. And like you said, I don't want to say that it's a little too late because, you know, as South Africans, we need to remain hopeful that there won't be more victims that will be affected by this horrible thing called gender-based violence. So these amendments basically will clamp down on perpetrators, and the probability of perpetrators getting away with these heinous crimes done against people will be lowered. This is sending an extremely strong message to say that the chances of you getting away is lowered now. So people should think, you know, perpetrators should think twice to think that they will be getting away with crimes done towards, you know, the vulnerable people of this country.
Yeah. Kelly, tell us about, you know, the importance of putting the process of getting a protection order, of putting that online. Why is that such an important development?
It's all about accessibility, Michelle. Accessibility is very important. This allows for any survivor of domestic violence or whatever the case may be to do that process in the comfort of their home. And the waiting period of having to go to the police station, that re-victimization, having to explain this is what's happening to me. You know, in the past it was the police officers to say, but you need to show me proof that your life is in danger, that this man or whatever the case may be said he's going to kill you. So it really avoids that victimization of the survivor. And it also brings about accessibility, whereby it can be done now, it can be done immediately, and it can also save lives faster.
Yeah. You talk about the issue of accessibility. Of course, now, you know, this is such a good step in terms of fighting gender-based violence in our country. How do we ensure that people know this option is open to them and that they know where to go online?
Yes, so education is very important with any policy change, with any amendment bill, with any law written, with anything written into law. Education is very important because now what needs to be done is the groundwork. We need to inform people as to what options are available to them. So I really do, in this moment, encourage organizations to make sure that people are educated, vulnerable people of this country is educated as to how the law is protecting them. So it's going to take groundwork. It's going to take a lot of groundwork. It's going to take a lot of seminars, educating people, especially those in rural communities. Women in rural communities have faced, the statistics of domestic violence within rural communities is quite high. And this gives us an opportunity to go in, also to train SAPs in these rural communities, because gender-based violence cases are underreported within these rural communities. So there's going to be a very big focus in those areas, Michelle.
The other very important amendment, Kelly, is the expansion of the scope of the National Register for Sex Offenders. So as far as I understand it, it will include all sex offenders, not only those who act against children and persons who are mentally disabled. It also means that an offender's particulars must remain on this register for 20 years. Just expand for us on the importance of this amendment.
Yes, this is very important, Michelle, because this protects more people that are victims, basically, of sexual violence. So all sexual offenders is included, must be included onto the NRSO. And this is very important because what happened now, there was a loophole for offenders that, did any offence, actually sexual offence, towards people that is not listed, that is not children, that is not mentally disturbed. And if we look in the news right now, if you look in mainstream media, the cases that is coming forth, we see of the 89-year-old woman that was murdered and raped to death. And we also see in the rural community of Bukitbar, where when Natasha was also killed. And so all these offences that is done towards people and against people not listed, that there was not previously listed, is listed now. So that means perpetrators that could get away with this and could avoid being put on that list cannot avoid being put on that list right now.
Yeah.
So it is easy for us to track them, to see what is going on. And with that being said, the National Register of Sex Offenders list is very important, and all organizations organizations like the old age homes, creches, schools, where kids or where vulnerable citizens are and people are being employed, they must make sure that they check before employing anybody, especially in schools.
Kelly, I'm going to thank you for your time this morning. Such an incredibly important conversation. Kelly Baloyi is Action Society's GBV spokesperson, and it's all around these new amendments that have been signed into law by President Cyril Ramaphosa aimed at strengthening our country's other efforts against gender-based violence.